I've got a set of speed bleeder brand speed bleeders that I'm going to be installing on the RS today. In typical BMW fashion, there's one size for the rear, which is this one here, SB1010S M10 by 1. Okay, so it's a 10 millimeter size wrench you have to use on that for the rear. But the front, you would think they would have the same part numbers in the same size. But for the RS, in typical BMW fashion, they've got to make it hard for you. So on the right side, you've got the SB8125L, which is an M8 by 1.25. And on the left side, it's an SB6100, which is an M6 by 1. So 3 different sizes for the bleeder valves on this bike. Real interesting. Anyway, what I'm going to do is put some rag around here, tape it down just in case anything comes off. Make sure that the cap or the cover is on the reservoir above, because we don't want any atmospheric pressure pushing down and causing more fluid to come out. So we do that, we quickly change them and then tighten it down, and we should be good to go. So for the front here, I've pulled off the dust cap off of the stock bleed nipple, and I've got my replacement speed bleeder right here, ready to stick it in as soon as I take this off, because fluid I expect to be coming out. So I'm going to be quick with that. I think I'm going to try and see if I can get a socket on that and maybe do it like that rather than lift up this box wrench over and over to get it off. It might be a little bit quicker. Here we go. I've got a long 8 millimeter. Put that on there, and I'm going to note the torque that this has right now on it and see. Yeah, it's just a little snug past the bottom, like I thought. So now with that unloosened like that, unloosened, I used that in the last video too. Take this off real quick, and then get ready to install the new one. Taking care not to cross thread. Okay, so it's got some thread locker on there. Well, not thread locker, but thread sealant, different. And it's actually holding the bleeding, the brakes from dripping right now. But I'm going to put this thing back on and snug that up as quickly as I can. Yeah, it's not cross-threaded, which is a good thing. There we go, we're getting close. And then, so that's it there, and then you just give it a little bit more, and that's it. That's as easy as it is to install the speed bleeder. Now I lost a little bit of fluid there, but I shouldn't have any air in the system. We're gonna check it out after we're all done, of course, but that's snugged up there. And then I've got a replacement from speed bleeder. I've got a little cap that I can put on here, and that just goes over that. So that's done. That's the installation of the speed bleeder on the right front. So I'll just peel this off now and go repeat the process on the left front. Got the dust cap off the left side. Now I'm gonna just take this off. Easier said than done. Using the same 8 millimeter from the last time, from the right side, break this loose, get your new speed bleeder ready, and it's dripping. Okay, you got to be quick with that. Now, of course, as you know, as in typical BMW, well, not, I shouldn't say in typical BMW fashion, but this speed bleeders are American, so the sizes are imperial. So this takes now a quarter inch wrench. So what I'm going to do now is switch over to a 1/4 inch socket and try to install that back into this system here now. There's the tightening right there. We've got that all installed. Just to double check again. Again, just using your fingers, just a little snug, and that's it. cap back on. And this one, in this case, because it's a smaller nipple, the cap goes all the way down. I don't think on the other side the cap goes all the way down. They've got a standard size cap, I suppose, and it doesn't go all the way on the fatter ones. So now we're going to do the back one. As you can see here, this one's a little bit different than the others on the RS. When you take the whole thing out, it comes straight out of the caliper, whereas the other ones, the nipple was actually screwing into a nut. This one is screwing straight into the caliper, which means that when it starts to drip, it's going to want to drip down here and down onto your final drive, so onto your shaft. So you need to actually kind of stick this down. That's the approach I'm taking. I got my socket. I'm going to take this off now, and again have the speed bleeder handy so that I can swap them as soon as I can. So I've got my speed bleeder in my hand here, and I'm going to start this now. This one is actually a little bit tighter than the others, I think. Okay, keeping that in, and then actually this one looks like it might leak the least. And it does leak the least. Yeah, not a drop came out of that one. What does that mean? Am I not getting any brakes? Rear brakes? I have no clue, but we'll find out when we bleed the brakes. Okay, so here it is down to the bottom, and give it a little bit of a tighten there, and we're done, I think. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give the brake pedal a little pump and make sure that well, look how dry that is, eh? That is totally dry. Okay, so there's a little hint of brake fluid right here, but with the others there was tons of brake fluid coming out, and so you know there was fluid right there. This one here, I'm not so sure. That's really weird. Now this is the speed bleeder dust cap for this, and like I said, I think it's one size, but anyway, in this case it works well. This one, I just put this back here, and let's go give it a pump now and see what happens. Pumping the rear brakes. It's got good feel there, so I don't know. Nothing came out, did it? No. So that's I think that's it for the speed bleeder install. All the speed bleeders are on, so the next thing to do would be to bleed brakes. One final thing I wanted to say is that in addition to the speed bleeders, I bought this self-sealer thread sealant. So it's a liquid thread sealant here that you apply to the speed bleeders after so many, I don't know how many, but maybe 2 or 3 bleeds, when you're backing this thing off quarter turn every time and then tightening it back. Eventually this kind of a thread locker type thread sealer comes off. This is the stock one. It comes off of the threads. So what you've got to do is take it out, take the speed bleeder out, clean it thoroughly, and then apply this thing and then bake it on using some kind of a heat gun so that it dries nicely and it gets a nice film around it, like you saw with the brand new one. Now the thing is, that's got me thinking that when I unscrew this, of course, well, I don't know about the rear brake, but if the front brakes are any indication, the fluid is going to want to start flowing out while I'm doing this thread resealing operation. So it's a good idea to keep these things handy and to stick this in the hole and tighten it finger tight at least to hold the fluid in while you're doing these brake bleeder reconditioning with thread sealant, fresh thread sealant. So you need to have something to stick in there in the meanwhile, and I guess these things can do the job. So that's it for this video.